Hey everyone, welcome back to Bird Talk with Terrence Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel Atlanta Sports Unlimited and turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the simplest sports fantasy game on the market. You can pick from multiple sports platforms and sign up using the code ASU, and Prize Picks will 100% match your initial offer up to $100. Well, we got our first preseason game under our belt. We didn't see many of our starters out there, but that's not to be seen from many other teams. What are your takeaways from that preseason game one?
Speaking of takeaways, we had 3 INTs, 2 pick sixes, 5 sacks, 2 stops in the red zone. I told you this defense was going to be something special this year. I told you if they finish in the top 10 or higher, the chances of us going deep into the playoffs are great. Let me tell you, and I've been to practice twice. It's a different feel to this defense. And I love the energy. And people say, well, that was just the second team going against their second team.
Yeah.
But that should tell you something. That should tell you that the starters the starters are out there showing how to play defense.
Right.
Because these guys are flying around also. So they got to get it from somewhere. So it got to be from that first unit of guys. So I'm loving what I'm seeing defensively. They are what they are offensively. You're going to get that, it's just what it is. I mean, people keep saying, well, they're going to open up the offense. They got Dijon Robinson and this and that. I don't see much changing offensively from what we do because of the fact that, and I'm not saying anything negative or bad about the offense. What I'm saying is that you don't have experience in spreading the offense out and doing things, seeing the ball going here, put it in playmakers' hands, all that stuff. You're not experienced enough yet to do that, and I don't think Arthur Smith is comfortable enough of doing that. He knows one thing, and that's I'm gonna pound you, and punish you, and be the bully on the block. That's what he knows, and that's what we're gonna get. Yeah, we're gonna throw the ball around a little bit, but I wouldn't get too excited about seeing the ball flying 30, 40 times a game.
Yeah, the preseason game is game one. None of the starters on offense were out there, so I didn't really expect much. I did have some friends and other people that I saw that were asking me why ain't Ritter playing? Why ain't Ritter starting? All these other quarterbacks played this, that, and the third. But I'm like, well, not all of them didn't, but some of them did. Some did start. But what do we have to gain? We've got more to lose than we actually gain because there's no one out there we're going to just replace Ritter with right now in that first game.
And, I can understand the questions of why he's not playing whatsoever because he's only played 4 games last season. There's an argument for him to be playing and get as many snaps as he can. You have guys like Russell Wilson, who has a new coach, went out there and played. You have some other guys that you had Derek Carr in New Orleans went out and played. You had Mahomes, Super Bowl champion. He played. So, it's almost, yeah. I mean,
well, how would Coach Mathis handle it? Would you have had him play the first one?
I would have played him. Okay. I'd have played him one series or so. If it was a 3 and out, I would have got him another series in whatsoever. But that's just me. But at the end of the day, you got 2 more preseason games. He's going to have to get some quality reps, especially for a young quarterback that's only started 4 games last year. He's going to need some quality reps. I don't care what you say. I don't care the method that you have whatsoever. And if I was sitting in the staff meeting room with the offensive staff, and we're talking about it, I'm saying Ritter has to play. And he has to play significant snaps. We have a really good offensive line that'll take care of him. So we as a staff got to put him in a position first, safety first, because it is a preseason game, and then to be successful secondly. So that's our jobs right there as a coaching staff to be able to do those things. So I expect him to play a little bit more home game
Mhm.
Cincinnati, I expect him to play more.
Was it unheard of when you played for guys to not play the first preseason game or any preseason games?
It was unheard of. It was really unheard of. We played significant amount. We had 4 preseason games. We played significant amount of snaps,
Hmm.
except for in the last preseason game. We
Right.
may have got one series and done. You know, I remember we used to, the first 3 preseason games, we had a set number of plays that we were going to play, and then coach said, "Hey, you're done." And I promise you, 99% of the guys says, "One more series, coach. One more series, coach." And because we wanted to make sure that we were doing things correctly. We didn't never want to leave the field unsure of what we were doing. So, and that's today's game is totally different because the players are big commodities now
Right.
with a whole lot of money on them. So I get it. But at the end of the day, I think you do need those quality reps in a NFL stadium. Even though the speed is not the same as regular season, you still need to get into a rhythm and into a nice lather whatsoever. Now, you got to understand this team had just went to a 2-3 day joint practice
With the
with the Miami
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Right. And
So
their
you
starters
really didn't,
played their
yeah,
starters.
yeah, really starters really didn't have to play in that, didn't have to do that because they got enough work,
Right.
for the preseason game.
Speaking of big money guys and getting playing time, we got a rookie running back. Should he get a lot of snaps in preseason, or is it something you don't really want to risk with an injury per se because he's
Well,
gonna
I,
have
I think,
contact. He's gonna get contact definitely.
yeah, I think you have to play.
Hmm.
But you got to be careful. You got to be really, really careful. Um, I run him on wide zone plays. I run him on some toss plays. I throw him the ball in the flats. Some angle routes whatsoever, just to get him used to the speed of the game, to see it differently in a big stadium like that. Even though uh, Texas Stadium bigger than Mercedes-Benz, more seats, but at the end of the day, he's going to have to play and get those butterflies and jitters out. And he's going to have it all year, but he might as well start now.
And I think Ritter, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was the only one out of our division of the quarterbacks that hadn't played yet.
Yeah.
I remember Carr
Yes.
played. I
Yes.
think Bakefield played. Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and Young
Everyone played
played.
but our
So
quarterback.
what do you think about these quarterbacks in our division that the Falcons have to contend against this?
Well, we'll start with the young guy in Carolina. I think he's gonna he's gonna here it is. He has a great support staff around him. When I say support staff, I mean head coach down.
Hmm.
It's a very veteran coaching staff. They know what they're doing. They're going to put him in situations to be successful, but they're going to keep him out of harm's. And I'm talking about Bryce. They're
Yeah,
going to keep him out of
I see.
harm's way whatsoever. So I think he's going to do some really, really good things.
Hmm.
But at some points, he's going to struggle too. I think by week uh, 12, 13, you start to hit that wall because that's when your college season starts to wind down a little bit and you still have 4 more games left. So that's the only thing you will be concerned about with a rookie quarterback. And then we go to Baker Mayfield in Tampa. It's funny because ever since Brady left, you almost forget that Tampa Bay got a football team. Nobody talks about them anymore. And then you have Baker Mayfield, who probably struggled through training camp, but played well in his preseason debut. And but here's a guy again with some experience, a little swag about him. But I don't think they have enough. Um, I don't think they can do enough offensively to scare anybody.
Hmm. I
And
agree.
then you look at Carr in New Orleans, where I think that's going to be our competition, and what a rivalry between the two teams that's going to be if we're going to be fighting with them to win a division because they're more skilled offensively than we are. When I say that, I mean schematically than we are. Really good defensive scheme whatsoever. And they got a lot of guys with some championship pedigree still on that team.
Right.
So that's going to be one of our nemesis. Then you look at our quarterback Ritter, who's in his second year. He fits in there. He is he better than Bryce Young? Yes. Right now, yeah, I have to say yes because Bryce hasn't played any game yet.
Yeah, I agree with you. You're going to get flack. I'm sure people are
Yeah,
going to
but
flack.
he hasn't played any games yet, so
Mhm.
you can't even consider that. If you want to go by college careers, you can't do that. We can't play in the past.
Yeah,
We got to
Charlie Ward
talk
was
about right
great
now.
in college.
Yeah, yeah, we got to talk about right now. Is he better than Baker Mayfield? I think he has potential to be better than Baker Mayfield. So I would give him an edge over Baker right now because of the fact that Ritter is not asked to do as much in this offense as Baker will in his offense. And I think the cream of the crop in the quarterback room, well, in the division is Carr by far. He's the best quarterback in the division, and I think Ritter is right there up under him. So again, there we go, 1-2 or 2-1, however you want to do it. I think at the end, when the dust settles, it's gonna come down to, and I think it's a December game, isn't it? The late game in the year with the Saints.
Saints. Yeah, we have two. Yeah, the second one's not actual scheduled date. The last one of the year, and then the other one, yeah, is like in December.
Yeah,
So
so
the
it's gonna
exact
come
date.
down. It's gonna come down to that second game against the Saints, who wins the
Yeah,
division.
it's like November 26th is the first time we play them.
Yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be exciting. I'm looking forward to this preseason game. I truly I think we're gonna see the starters offensively and defensively, and you're gonna get your first look of your 2023 Atlanta Falcons football team.
That's something else, though. You got Carr, in which right now I guess I would have to agree with you. He is the top QB in the division, but to be from where he was in his previous division, he was probably almost last. I mean, he had
Right.
Mahomes, he had San Diego's quarterback,
Yeah.
and he had
Hey,
Russell Wilson.
yep. So
So
he's new start, new beginning. I think with Kamara out for 3 games, the first 3 games, they may struggle a little bit,
mhm.
but hey, it is what it is.
And then they've got a decent backup in Jameis.
Yes.
He even played well the other
Mhm.
day as well.
Yeah.
They
So here's that Saints team is still, even though they may have lost some players, they
Mhm.
still are a team that has a lot of experience on it. A lot of a lot of players that have played together.
Mhm.
So that's a plus for them. For us, we got a lot of guys who who just want to prove that they can play and still play at a high level. And I take that over anything because I think these guys for 17 games is gonna fly around and do the things necessary for to win ball games. I think defensively they'll win 3 ball games by themselves. I just truly honestly think that.
That'll be awesome. I mean, I'm sure the people will be happy to hear that,
Yeah.
and I hope it holds true because that's going to be our key. Like you said, the offense is kind of is what it is, but that
Right.
defense is really what we've really been needing to hold it down when it comes time. Basically,
Right.
those big third downs that we couldn't get and those trench warfare and
Yeah.
like you said, they played the Dolphins in camp and even the Miami writers were saying that the Falcons were winning most of those days in the
Right.
trenches.
Right.
You know,
Exactly. That
uh,
that front four of what that front seven you want to call it of the Falcons is pretty doggone good, man. I watched them. They're really pretty good. They get after it.
so let me.
Grady finally has some help.
Yeah, he definitely
And
does.
and I love it, man. He can play lights out, get him a break, take a breather, come back and play lights out because they got a lot of depth at that position.
Michael Walker, he played a lot of games for us over the last 3 years.
Right.
He did come in with Dan Reeves and Thomas Dimitrov. He was one of
Mhm.
their products. But what do you think it was that we ended up releasing him? Was it depth? Was it performance? Other things that we don't know about?
You got Carter, Dupree, Ellis, and Anderson. And then you got a few other guys that's backing up those guys.
Hmm.
When you're looking at that, your game has to go to a different level. You can't rely on, oh, I was a starter for 2 years or 3 years or whatever it is. My position is okay. But when they bring in Dupree and Ellis, you got to look, hey, the writing is on the wall.
Right.
Either you're going to get better or you're going to get gone.
Mhm.
So, hey, he was a great talent for us. He did some really, really good things for us over the last few years, but he did. I guess he just didn't fit what uh, Nielsen was looking for defensively. Um, you got some dudes, man, in that
Yeah.
linebacker room. There's some dudes, and hey, somebody had to go.
What do you want to see out of the starters on Friday?
I just want to see him fly around and have fun. Fly around, have fun, make some plays. I want to see pressure the quarterback, maybe get a sack or two, couple more turnovers, and just fly around and make tackles. Fly around, make tackles, no missed tackles. I just want them to have fun. And I've seen it for 2 practices, how they have fun, how they enjoy each other. And I want to see that translate on Friday night in their game. And I think they will. If you look back, some guys that played well last week, Helms played well. D Offer had the punt return for the touchdown. I thought, Trey Flowers, I thought some of the guys, some of the backup guys that played extremely, extremely well, especially on the back end. I
Hmm.
think we have more depth than we've ever had over the last few years in the secondary. And when I say depth, I mean guys that can play,
Right.
not just guys. We have guys that can actually play in the secondary. So I'm looking forward to this defense. You know, I want to see this defense play. And I'm an offensive guy, but I want to see this defense play. Because I keep saying the 3 best transactions the Falcons made was Nielsen, Gray, and Steven Jackson.
Mhm.
And those are 3 coaches. And I think that's the best acquisition the Falcons have made in years. And then I'm not saying,
Tell us,
I'm not
tell the
saying
people,
anything. Go ahead.
tell the people a little bit more about Nielsen and Jackson and why you think those are key acquisitions to our coaching staff.
Your defensive coordinator has won divisions, been Super Bowls, whatsoever, championship pedigree.
Hmm.
And you got Jerry Gray, who was with the Packers for a while and championship city right there. And you have Steven Jackson, who's been a journeyman, been on teams that, the Titans and places that have won. And they bring a different attitude. Here's the thing. We talked about this last year, and nothing against Dean Pease at all. But you have to have coaches that can identify
Hmm.
with the players today.
Right.
So, and make them trust them and also want to play for them. And I think these 3 guys and this defensive staff, the way they talk, the way they get excited, and the way they present themselves, and way they can really understand the players, and the players understand them, makes this defense very special. Now you have not only a cohesive unit on the field, but on the sidelines too. So
Right.
that's what makes this defense very, very special.
Yeah, and speaking of the depth, you were talking about the corners. One thing about that game, because people are like, oh, these guys aren't going to be on the team. Well, D. Alford is and has
Yes.
been.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing him do that, that's big. I don't care
Right.
what quarter it
Right.
was.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be on this team,
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
lot of guys that you saw
Mm-hmm.
performing well are going to be on this
Be on
team.
this team. Phillips gonna be on this team. And
Exactly.
you just got to understand that. Now, they made 2 more changes just recently, Frank Darby and Josh Ali. Um, First, let's talk about Josh Ali. I was very, very surprised with that, because going into the Miami game, he was second on the depth chart. And when Scotty Miller was hampered with a rib injury early in camp, he showed up and showed up well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was surprised of them releasing him. Darby, he showed up early, then he got the injury whatsoever. And here's the thing. If I'm Frank Darby and there's a choice between the Falcons and 3 or 4 other teams that I can play for, I'm not coming back to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Dude, they didn't cut you 3 times. They didn't release you 3 times. I know it's a familiar whatsoever, this and that, but it's for your career. It's time for you to move on and find and do something different for you.
It's not okay for him to be on the practice squad because that's
no, don't do that. Go to somebody else's practice squad. Don't do that. Hey, man, you deserve a fresh start and another opportunity, because even if they sign you to the practice squad, you're still that same guy, that same report that they've had over the last 3 years, because they keep releasing you. So you need to go get a fresh start and get a fresh identity somewhere else.
Let me ask you this. So a practice squad player, what kind of money do they get if they get any? Because if he wanted to go somewhere else, it might be, would it be out of pocket?
No, they get paid decently. Mm-hmm. They do. It's a decent pay. Okay. I don't know what it is today, mm-hmm. but I know, trust me, I know it's better than what it was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But they get decent pay. But,
okay.
But it'll be.
I just didn't know if it was comparable to minor league baseball players who get.
No, they got a decent pay. They get paid decently, and I think it'd be to his advantage to get a fresh start somewhere else.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. He's had plenty of opportunities with us, and the Falcons do seem to willing to give him that, even a third spot or
right.
And he just always ends up back on the practice squad. And I agree with you, especially if you've got a dream and a goal to achieve.
Yes.
Let someone else see what you have to offer.
Yes. You see, the Falcons hired Matt Schaub also.
Yeah, so I saw that.
Why you take that deep breath like that?
Because I was like, they should have hired Terrence Mathis.
Hey, man. Guess what, man? I am so
brought Terrence Mathis in.
I would love to.
I saw where Matt Ryan apparently told Ritter, that he's there for help, but they didn't hire Matt Ryan, so I guess don't feel too bad to you.
No, I don't feel bad at all. Look, I don't feel bad at all. It's it is what it is.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it. I'm still me. And it's nothing change. No matter what, I'm gonna be me.
Well, I'm gonna keep pulling for you to be on the team.
Thank you, man.
Always and forever. What you got for us in the show today?
Well, we kind of segue into what I wanted to say about continue being who you are. In every situation, be who you are. I don't care, good, bad. If restaurant, at a club, I don't care, the gas station, grocery store, don't change who you are, because of the fact that who you are is what God wants you to be. Now, we can adapt to our environments and understand where we are and put on that mask and play that role. We can do that. And that's just who we are. And that's what we do every day anyway. We put on a mask, and this world is our stage, because of the fact that when we go to work, we got to be a certain way. When we go to the store, we got to be a certain way. Around the family, we got to be a certain way. With the wife or with your kids. So you're acting every day. But the beauty of it all is that be who you are, and then people will recognize you and they can identify with you, and then they want to be around you. And the thing is, God didn't make us all the same. He made us all different, but we're unique and we're perfectly made in his sight. So, I know it's nothing really I didn't want to go really deep today.
Mhm.
I just wanted to say, hey man, be who you are, and look, and if you're not happy with who you are, pray first. There you go.
Right on. Thank you as always. Everyone, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel Atlanta Sports Unlimited, and I hope to see everybody at the game on Friday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Peace.